Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for you today. So as you might have noticed this week, most semiconductor companies and stock have been lagging the market. When the market goes up, these companies have not really kept pace. But more specifically, AMD is down 5 to 6% this week. So what exactly has happened there? So we have some analyst notes, some upgrades, some more news with regards to the semiconductor industry, shortages, etc. I would also like to talk about the global market in semiconductors, 200mm wafers, the capacity increases, increase in spending from companies this year, and the outlook for most of the industry. So stay tuned for that. So first up, we have, the global market size of the semiconductor industry right now is right above $600 billion. As you can see here on the graph, it has been growing quite fast. Now, this market, if you've been following these videos, is expected to reach $1 trillion in sales by 2030, so at the end of this decade. So quite a lot of growth in the coming years. And yes, obviously right now with the shortage, it is a bit slowing down, but it's not like they're not selling everything that they can. Then you might ask, all right, but what are the applications? What are the major, the market share in the global semiconductor industry? So 33.3% is actually network and communication. Second is data processing, obviously with data centers and everything that's going on there, cloud, etc. That's the obvious second biggest segment. Then we have industrial, consumer electronics, automotive, still a small segment, expect that to grow in the coming years. And then a small segment there is government, but even that segment will grow because, they need it. And here comes the interesting part. Now, this is specifically for 200mm semiconductor capacity and, in relations to the count of fabs. Yes, there is also 300mm, but in most applications, most cases, 200mm is still good enough. And also right now with the shortage and everybody's cutting costs, there is really no reason to upgrade from 200 to 300 if it works perfectly on the 200mm one. So as you can see, 2020, 2021, count fab lines are going up while capacity is still lagging. Now, in 2020, 2023, 2024, capacity is expected to increase by a lot to obviously tackle the demand, which is great to hear because we need more capacity. Now, if you look at this graph right here, the companies that are expected to increase spending by more than 40% in 2022, a nice list of companies, number 10 Intel, number 13 TSMC, but look at the countries, the HQ, right? Taiwan, Japan, Taiwan. Then you have a couple of United States as well. As you can see, the main reason why we see capacity going up in the coming years is, the companies have realized they need to increase spending to tackle that demand issue. Now, there is also another issue here, and that's the fact that most of the semis today are being made in Asia, China, Japan, Taiwan. So if there is any geopolitical, issue there, which there is, then it becomes a major issue for the world. And that is why you see companies like TSMC, Intel, Samsung wanting to build their foundries in the United States, Intel as well in Europe, to have a bit of diversification there, which is great. Because as you can see right here, this is again 200mm semiconductor capacity, but this is by region. Look at China. Look at the huge increase there since 2020. And this is expected to continue 2023, 2024, and the other regions aren't even close to them, which again is just a signal that the world is not really paying attention. And then if you want to know the capacity by product type, so the majority of it is for foundry, then analog, discrete, and the rest. Logic, I thought would be a bit more. Memory is close to nothing. But then again, it's because this is 200mm. And so while there still is a global chip shortage, as you can see, companies have already, trying to tackle that problem, spending money to expand and increase capacity. Now again, you spend the money, so you have that issue of this hits the balance sheet first, and the positive effect of it will only come in 2023, 2024, 25, etc. Now, It will take time. Most people say that by 2023 or mid 2023, the shortage should end. That's if everything goes the right way. If suddenly tomorrow there is an issue again, China, Taiwan, more COVID lockdowns, expect those struggles to continue. Even if they keep increasing or spending to increase capacity, there are lockdowns, you cannot construct anymore. And again, when people say they are looking to open a new foundry here, a new foundry there, that's fine. You can build buildings, no problem. But the thing is, you have to attract the talent. The labor market today, I don't know if you noticed, is a bit complicated, right? You need to attract the talent, you need to train them because it isn't easy. So that will take time. It's a major issue with Intel. They have great plans, building in Europe, building in the United States, even if, well, there are some questions with regards to the CHIPS Act, but you can build it. But then you'll have to hire and train and start producing, which takes time and a lot of money. Now, with regards to AMD more specifically, we're going to have a look at a couple of notes. But first, if you want to support this channel, do check out the link down in the description below to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couch investor and make sure to check out the other links down in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Some of them might save you some money. So with regards to AMD, let's have a look at a couple of fundamentals and financials here. So revenue has been going up quite nicely last 12 months, close to $19 billion. Free cash flow positive, $3.31 billion. Again, that's for the last 12 months. Now return on equity has actually been going down. It now sits just under 11%. 1 year ago, we were at close to 70%. But then again, they're investing a lot. They acquired Xilinx and the other company, I forgot the name, but it's going to pop up on the screen anyways. And then PE ratio has obviously come down as the stock price has come down as well, and as they increase the earnings per share. Now, with everything that's going on right now, inflation, the macroeconomic environment, COVID lockdowns, etc., expect some earnings compression across the board, not just for AMD, but for others as well. And if you want, we can add a little comparison here with Intel. So obviously Intel has much higher revenues, but growing much slower. Free cash flow also 3 times that of AMD, but also has been decreasing lately. Return on equity is also much higher and will remain steady, might even go even lower with all the investments that they're making. And then obviously PE extremely low for that industry, but it makes sense because they're barely growing, so they're having a low PE there. And now as for the couple of announcements and notes, so first up, AMD appoints Matthew Hein as Chief Strategy Officer, effective June 27. He will be responsible for advancing the company's strategy across an expanded market for high performance and adaptive computing solutions, and we work closely with the AMD executive team to accelerate the company's next phase of growth. Hein will report to AMD Chair and CEO Lisa Su. He also joins AMD from DBO Partners, where he served as lead advisor to AMD on a number of opportunities. We then have the analyst at Morgan Stanley that puts an overweight rating and a $103 price target on the company. And then this is one of the reasons why the stock and most likely other semiconductor stocks this week took a bigger hit than the overall market. That's because notebook shipments missed for 5th consecutive month. So May notebook shipments were up 22% month over month, below Citi's expectation of up 29% due to demand deceleration. Citi's Taiwan notebook analyst lowered the firm's Q2 notebook shipments from down 3% quarter over quarter to down 11%, well below seasonality of up 5 to 10%. The analyst reiterates neutral ratings on Intel and AMD as he expects a contraction in the PC market to negatively impact both companies. Now, if you remember in the Analyst Day, which I made a video about, they already talked about a slowdown in PC. They expect that, but that didn't stop their outlook. But we also have some positive news, and that's from TSMC. AMD, you know, is using TSMC. So they will start 2 nanometer processor production by 2025, which is very good for the companies like AMD, Apple, and the others that are using TSMC. This report follows similar announcement by Samsung and Intel. And the last thing, talking about manufacturing, again, like I said at the start, there is an issue with spending more and then actually producing. So there is this report here from Wall Street Journal, TSMC, Samsung grappling with manufacturing equipment shortage. So they are grappling, so having struggles with manufacturing equipment shortage, and analysts believe shortfalls of the most advanced chips could be as high as 20% by 2024 and later. Now again, this remains to be seen what happens. On top of that, we have that TSMC says it will have new version of ASML chip making tool in 2024. We've talked about ASML, they basically have a monopoly when it comes to EUV scanners and the machines that TSMC is using. So we'll see what happens with that, if there are any delays or not. So overall, to conclude, in my opinion, if you're an AMD shareholder, if you're thinking about owning any semiconductor stocks, this is an opportunity. Again, buy on weakness in these types of moments. Can be bad in the short term, but can be extremely good in the long term. AMD is a tremendous company, tremendous execution from management. Just look at what the business is doing and less about this stock. Just wanted to make this video to maybe explain why the stock hasn't moved much, or has moved on the downside, while the other tech stock this week specifically have gone up. So there you have it. Also a broader overview of the whole industry. Now, obviously, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this a buy the weakness type of moment, or is this waiting towards the next quarters? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.